Dear Dynasty, what's up, y'all? If you new, welcome. If you've been here, welcome back to Dear Dynasty at the Magnificent Dynasty. You feel me? What's up, y'all? Today is 8/4, your girl born day, and I didn't do um the past Saturday podcast episode because I was on a fast, and so like I was just really focused on that. That was like the longest fast I I've done so far as just drinking water and getting my electric lights. So I just wanted to take time and space for that and prayer and stuff. But this morning I was doing my journal and I was writing my every time I journal in this book is directly to the most high. And if you don't do that, get into it. Start, you know, placing space and time. I would say it's best to do it at the same time every day. But when you could just do it, I don't do it at the same time every day. Um, and sometimes I really don't even do it every day, just to be open and honest. I'm really um inconsistent when it comes to journaling, but I do my hey God. You know, it's all up to y'all how y'all want to do it, but just talk to God a little bit more. That's all I just wanted to say. But I like to write to the Most High. But there's something that I was writing, and I was like, it made me a little bit emotional, and I just wanted to share that. I did not plan anything for this. I just turned on record and just was like, let me. I just felt led to hit record and just share some things today. But I wrote, I said, in this life, I've been so afraid to win because I am so afraid to lose. And that right there, I had to like, it took something, it took honesty with myself to even write that and say that. And I've always been sitting around trying to figure out, what is it that's holding me back in certain aspects in life. And I feel that I've I've witnessed my mom struggle in certain ways, but I didn't feel it. Um we always it was always somewhere to go. Like when it was a time I was like a teenager or getting up into my teens. Even though we were on like housing, that stuff doesn't stop struggle. And I remember like um it was one point where excuse me, our lights and our water was off. And so we had to end up staying at my aunt house. And I don't really remember my mom staying with us there, but I know like she sent me and my brother there or me. Like I just remember myself being there, honestly. Like I don't have too much memory of my childhood, honestly. Just try to block a lot of things out. Um so I just remember us being there for a little bit. Um but I didn't feel like the struggle like as a mom, you know. how that fear, or you know what I mean, just that protective um feeling that a mother will have, like during a time of struggling, or maybe overwhelmed or something like that. I was a child, so I didn't feel that. And I even remember one time, because like growing up I always heard um like my dad did a lot for me, and I stayed with my grandma as at a young age and stuff like that. So I'm really, well, growing up I was more close, and I love being with my dad's side more than anything. And so with that, like growing up in the stories I would hear and stuff, not going to explain those things, it did. And then when I got older, the disconnect between me and my mom, like her way of being a mom wasn't to my liking, I would say. Just to keep it, cute and nice. And, you know, when I got older, I remember I was standing at a table with her, but like we were across from each other or whatever. And I'm like, girl, you want housing. Like, I was like, you want housing. Like, you really is like, what's really going on? Like, hello. And she was like telling me how, like, at a certain point, I guess she wasn't on housing, when she was pregnant with my other brother, um, the middle child. But me and him grew up together, so he's not really a middle child in my sense, because the baby didn't come to like, I was like 15. So, but my little brother, she know when she got pregnant with him, um, she got kicked down and stuff like that. So she was just, saying how, she wasn't always on housing or whatever. And like I did not care. Like I was like a teenager at that time. So it's just like, girl, fuck what you talking about, like basically. And so I just remember that look, like she looked at me like, bitch, you don't even know. And I remember her asking me did I want a hug and stuff, and I was like, girl, no. And I think I later on that day, I think I got kicked out. Yeah. I think that was the last time I let her kick me out. Like, child, please. So, anyway, but that look in her eyes was like, I think about that time, you know, like she was young. By the time she was 17, 18 years old, she was raising two kids. And even when you have family, that doesn't like that doesn't really do anything far as the emotions go with just struggling as a parent, in any type of way, trying to get your kids to school, get them ready, going to work, and just stuff like that. So I never felt that what she may have felt. And I'm pretty sure, is it was way more fear involved than I've had in my life, because she was a child when she had um two children. You feel me? So in 2023, um is when I felt the most fear. That's when like I lost stuff, and I lost things with my children. And it wasn't like in a period where, I was super blessed in that period, but it was just like I'm I was so used to taking care of my kids. I had my business going, work going, everything was, a lot was going. I had a lot going for myself at that time. And I don't think I made any mistakes. It was just um once that fear kicked in, I turned off pushing myself, you know. But in a certain way, I didn't, because during that time, like, people wouldn't even know what I was going through because I was still doing videos, music. I still made a way for myself, but a big part of myself was in fear. Like, my kids didn't go to school for a while. Like, they was threatening to, you know, let the judge know and stuff like that. It was a miracle, and I'm super blessed to have an incredibly smart princess. And they still passed like their grade. They did very great on like their tests and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I already don't celebrate holidays, but I still like to, implement like some fun things in my children's life, and I just wasn't able to do that. And certain things, just not being able to do stuff and your kids asking you, it kind of gets you a little irritated, because it's just like, I really want to do it, I just can't, but I don't want to explain those things to you. So, with me personally, being that my kids are so mature, it came a point in time where I just had to like be super honest with them. And even in that honesty, there was still fear there. Like, I've really been scared to take certain risks because I don't want to put myself back in that sort of situation, even though I had a lot of help. Like, it doesn't, it like I said, like, for my mom, it doesn't matter when you have family and stuff like that. There's just certain parts that no one can um give you as someone who is so used to being independent. Once that independency goes into a dependent state, it's just something that just breaks in you. Like, I don't want to slip in any type of way to, you know, do that again. So, like, I started moving really careful, and I'm just like, let me just go back to work. I can't wait this period out. I can't wait for um certain things to happen and certain things to come to me. Like, I just rather go back to doing the 9 to 5 and just, and I was doing pretty well, but it was certain things that I wasn't able to receive, far as like um getting pay stubs and certain things like that, because you know people will see that and just be like, what do she do? Like, you can't tell people like you do certain stuff to get in certain types of apartments and stuff like that, and just it was not working out for me in those certain type of ways. So I just was scared. Like, time is ticking. I was in a hotel for 3 months with my children, and it was like they didn't have like two separate beds available, and the two separate beds that were available was way over there. I'm already in this one. It was just like, I might as well just stay in this one. We shared a bed together, stuff like that. So much stuff was in the storage. um having to pay for storage. My kids' school was still in Hollywood. I was waiting for Lauderdale. It was just a lot going on at that time. And I'm I'm very like, I'm a baby. So like, it was like like, I didn't have to do much, like, you know what I mean, myself, but it was just like getting it done. Like, it was just like it wasn't getting done on my time, and I had to just learn patience. I had to learn to allow people to help me. I had to learn to like ask for help. I had to learn to receive, like, and all in all, God just really just sat me down to, you know, reflect on a lot of things. And still, the way God was moving for me, like, it still does not remove that fear. Later on, I got my own place. Um, and, I'm the type of girl, like, I don't finance. So I got my own place, and for maybe like a week, me and my kids was sleeping in their room on a pallet. Like, I'm not renting nothing. There's nothing in my house that's renting. You're not gonna knock on my door and ask for no furniture. So, I was just trying to make sure I find things that, suits me and makes me comfortable. So, I don't even, yeah, it's probably like a week or a few days or something like that. We got one bed um in their room, and then one bed in my room. And so they were sharing beds for a while, and I was just like, it's such a blessing to have sons and do this, because like I grew up sleeping on the floor. Like when I was house to house and stuff like that, I was on the floor, like whatever, don't care. So it's just like, y'all'll be all right, y'all boys. Like I got somebody I can thug it out with. Like we just was thugging that shit out. Got my couch off Facebook Marketplace. I had a lot of my own stuff, like my own refrigerator, my own deep freezer, and stuff like that. Just I was selling things to get my own things, and I started to. It's just like even that is like a fear of mine, because I got the couch of my dreams. Like I always wanted a house where I had like this certain blue type of sofa. If y'all see those blue sofas and they're like soft and stuff, I still wanted a more of a lighter blue. But as soon as I seen this one, I was like, oh yes, this is like similar to the one I dream about. Like, this is my dream couch. So I made sure I got that, and just, trying to decorate a little bit. I wouldn't say my house is decorated, because if you see my last one, you'll be like, okay, that's more Tanisha. But this one is just like the world blue and stuff like that. It's cute and all that, but it's just not how I want it. So it's just little fears of mine that I have, even with like buying a car. Like, I don't want to um a financed car. And the guy was telling me, he was like, okay, but how do you expect to build your credit when you don't have like you're buying what do you call it? Payer something. Like it's just a car, you go there, they like $3,000, $4,000, and you get one of those. Like that's I just basically live my life on the safe side when I'm, you know, I would like to make certain risk, but I'm just not into losing. I don't want to lose anything. Like, I don't put myself in a position to lose nothing. And that's just like my cowardness. Um, because why not? I feel like, you know, I have to put that fear down, you know, because who's in control of my world? I am, and you are in control of your world. So if you want something, get it. And one thing I was doing, I found like one of my very first journals, and I was reading the affirmations that I used to read myself every day. And I was reading through those and I was like skimming through them and I was like, oh yeah, this is me. This is me. And I'm not a, hmm, excuse me, how would I say this? I'm not a materialistic manifester. I'm a inside, like myself, me as a person, as a being, like the energy I want to carry. For example, like I am outgrowing bullshit. That was one of my um affirmations. So I'm like, yeah, I've outgrown bullshit. But when I go to other things, I'm like, I don't feel like I have that yet. And I hear something saying, but what door have you opened for that? You can write this down how many times you want to. You can say how many times you that makes you feel good. But what door or what step have you um opened? What step have you made for this to blossom? You asked for it, so it's automatically a yes. But you do have to do the work on those things. You can't just write down an affirmation or say certain affirmations or daydream about certain things, meditate on certain things, and just simply want something and not open the door or make room for those things. One of my previous affirmations has always been um I, I'm a I'm a Leo. I know some people be like, we don't do zodiacs. I do. Okay. I'm a Leo. And well, Avi. Um, so we like fashion. We like to look good. We like to do something different. Like it doesn't matter where we're going, we're gonna look our best. So one of my affirmations is me and my boys' closets and dresses are filled with clothes. Like, we have a lot of clothes. And that is true. That is definitely true. But I had to make room for that. Like, you have to consistently get rid of things, give away things, not trash, but give away. Give away things to make room for new things. If your closet is so packed, jam packed with stuff, boxes, or just certain things, broken shoes and stuff like that. Oh, I'm gonna get them fixed. Just worn out stuff. You're not making room for anything new to come in. So I have to consistently get rid of certain things so I can bring in some new things and just working on certain things. Like, oh, I am debt free. Okay, well, open up an account where you can pay off your debt. You know, you work hard, a part of your income, you have to pay yourself, you pay your bills, you pay your debt. So you cannot just, anything that you're in fear about is because you have not opened the door to safety, right? So, yeah, I just want to let y'all know, like, in your world, you have to think about what does your world look like. And then after you have placed everything in its place, how you want your world to look like, rather it's how would I like my mornings? What do I want my mornings to look like? I want to do this in the morning, 15 minutes of this. I want to not even like try to time it first, but put those things out and then build a schedule on just like how I want my mornings, right? How I want my house to look. Work on one room at a time. Put some curtains here, buy a new cover here, you know what I'm saying? Or a little rug here. You know, one thing I always craved for is a desk, like a office area in my home. And I always would say, you know, I want it to be like a room, but I'm not there yet. But why can't I have my office area where I'm at now? So I never really was thinking about it until like it came a time where my job had me, I was working at home, so I had like some computers, and as soon as I was get my computers and stuff, I was like, oh yes, I have to buy a desk. I can't just, where am I gonna work at? So I bought myself a desk, and uh I got a chair from them, and everything else was from work and stuff like that. And I'm like walking by it. Like I said this in another video podcast or whatever. And I was like, I keep walking by this, and it's just like taking up room for what could be space for magnificent, my dynasty, and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, it's perfect. Everything fits perfectly. I have my praying altar, and then I have my sofa, and then I have my desk, all in the same room. And my living room is not a play area. It's nowhere to put a TV or anything like that. I don't really do too much of TV, and I don't have company or nothing like that. If I do, like, we can watch TV in my room or whatever. So it just, I don't have nobody in and out of my home. So yeah, I got my plant, like my living room is just my space for me, my spirit team, um, and to grow as a woman and build my legacy, my dynasty. You have to start somewhere. Like everything starts somewhere. My first apartment, like I said, I'm not if I have if I don't have nothing, I'm gonna have me a mattress. And my mattress was on the floor. And then eventually, everything else just came to me. Like I didn't have to buy absolutely nothing for my first apartment. I had got so much furniture from um my kid's dad mother's friend. She was I think getting rid of furniture, and like gave us like the beautifulest things. But when we moved, I didn't have nowhere to put it, and just left that stuff. But it was just, everything was beautiful, you know. And then when I got my next apartment, the first thing I did, I took my little $50 to and this is the reason why I don't finance. I took my first $50 to City Furniture, and I was only able to get like a bedroom set for my room, and my kids had their room, but they was too young to sleep in their room, so they slept with us. And yeah, dresser, bed frame, mattress, nothing, nothing special. Like I didn't, no couch, nothing. And how much you pay for this stuff, um, is just like insane. And then I'm not the type of person, if something break, I'm literally not using my warranty. I don't know what that is about me. I need to stop that shit. I'm not using my warranty. I'm just throwing that shit out. And so that's what happened. Like the yeah, something broke, and I did not use my warranty. And you paying like double on this stuff. It's a scam. And I eventually, the next year, I trashed, like when me and my kids dad separated and stuff. I'm the type of person, I don't want nothing in this house that reminds me of you. Like, I trash everything except for my mattress. Everything. Except for like my bed and stuff, like my living room, I mean my room stuff I kept. Like, but everything else, I trashed it. Everything. Which I had bought myself a couch and stuff. Like, I trashed everything. And then I went to, what's that cheap furniture place? If you're from Hollywood, it was like, shit. It was on that road that nobody go down over there. You know where 95 is in the McDonald's. It's on by 95. It's on that little strip. I forgot what they call it. It's where you get the cheap good furniture. And I went there and I got my bedroom set, chandelier lights, um, my couch set, tables, like all that good shit for 2000. And I just felt like so princey, like, yeah. And I was like, just that one bedroom set, I paid probably more for that than my entire home being furniture. And my brother had came to stay with me for a while, so I had let him use my name to get him some furniture, um, in his room and stuff too. So it was just like everything was fully. I don't mind waiting for greatness, but I'm not financing nothing. I don't care what it is. I don't know, but I might finance me a little Rover this year or next year, whatever. I need me one of those. But I found out they're not good cars, so I'm feeling like I'm a Lexus girl now. But let me let y'all go. My main thing is, don't let fear consume you in a world that is already in debt. The world is already in debt, so go ahead and take that risk. No, but long as it's a righteous risk, like I'm not someone who is going to do too much. I'm not doing nothing that goes outside of my beliefs. I'm not that type of girl. Like, I don't have time to be scamming and all that type of stuff. That's just not who I am. That's just not me. And I think, like, in my culture and stuff like that, you just cannot do those type of things either way. Like, if you want your ancestors to leave your ass, okay, go ahead. But if you want your ancestors to be the one that is helping and guiding you to the jackpot, go ahead and continue to live your life in a righteous way, and just continue to make room and pray for the things that you do desire, but also take the steps to make those things possible. So like I said, I didn't really have too much to say. I just wanted to share something that I wrote in my journal. But I just hope you guys are having like a blessed week. It's kind of storming on and off. I'm not really worried about it. I was born in the storm, so I'm loving it. This is like the first year I'm going to buy myself an actual cake for my birthday. Like, I don't really like sweets and stuff. Um I've been getting around to it. I need to stop. um but I just never really bought myself a cake or blew out some candles. Growing up house to house, I don't really remember like too much celebrating my birthday. So, even if I did, I'm thankful. I just don't remember. Um, so yeah. But I always do something. But like actually buy myself a cake. I'll probably do some cupcakes or something like that, but actually buy myself a whole cake that says happy birthday is just something I haven't done. So I'm really excited for this. And also I'm just trying to be more in the soft era and just allowing things to come to me without like trying to tug the war with it, or like, for example, like, with my kids, that I'm like, um I let his kids talk to him. I let our kids talk. Then sometimes I'll be ready to block him. Like, I recently had his ass blocked, and then he texts me talking about he got a new number or whatever. I'm like, you know what? Let me just be. So I'm just like, I don't want to do anything that I don't have to do. Like I told y'all in the previous podcast about wearing all these hats. Like, put that stuff down. Like, what don't belong to me, I'm not carrying it. And whatever I can give to somebody else to carry, like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm delegating these hats because I just have to give myself more space to grow, and stop giving myself more stuff to carry, you know? So and shout out to my girl Marshawn Dolly. She sent me a I call her Dolly. She sent me a little happy birthday on Instagram, and it made me so emotional. And I just want to thank everybody who just listening to me, and I really appreciate everybody who has high hopes and is inspired. Y'all know how to talk my tongue by what I'm doing and stuff like that. I appreciate what people are doing and how the world is just growing within itself. And I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all stay blessed, because I can ramble on. That's why I have to have things written down. I literally have something that says closing out. And I read that, and I read it and just like, okay, I'm done. But y'all have a blessed one. Peace.